do you believe that the Lord Jesus will be in human form when we meet him?
Yes, I do. Two verses come to mind. When the Lord Jesus has risen from the dead and he is standing near the Mount of Olives, and he ascends, and they see the body going up through the sky, and two angels appear and says, "You men of Galilee, why are you standing gazing into heaven? This same Jesus whom you have seen go into heaven shall so come in like manner." So definitely the idea was that the Jesus whom you saw ascending is going to come back in the same way, and it would appear that he may literally come back to the Mount of Olives. And in Zechariah chapter 14, we're told that the Lord's feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem to the east. That is the actual physical Mount of Olives. And there will be a great earthquake, and the Mount of Olives will divide. So I would say that, yeah, there's a lot of symbolic things in the Bible. There's the need for interpretation at times, but that must not take us away from simple literal truths. But the Lord Jesus literally physically ascended, and he will literally physically descend to that same point. Also, all existence in the Bible is existence in a bodily form. God himself exists in a bodily form. God is not a cloud. God is not a whoosh of electricity somewhere out in the cosmos. God is a person. God is a personal being. That is why I don't believe in an immortal soul or whatever that sort of goes on wafting around after you're dead. Yeah. Death is death, and we are unconscious. We go back to the dust, and we shall be resurrected in a bodily form. And that leads me to Philippians 3:21, that says that when Jesus returns, he will change this body of our humiliation into a body like unto his glorious body. Into a body like unto his glorious body. So he has a body. And at the resurrection, this body that we now have, this body of humiliation, shall be changed into a body like his. So definitely he has a body. And when he rose from the dead, he appeared to the disciples who obviously struggled with this idea. And he said, "Look, handle me and see. A ghost does not have flesh and bones as you see me have." He doesn't say flesh and blood, flesh and bones. So quite clearly, he existed in a physical form, and he ate a piece of boiled fish and a honeycomb to try to demonstrate to them that, look here, I am real. Because there was in those days, as there is today, this strong reaction against the idea that existence has to be in a bodily form. Everyone wanted to go into some belief that death is not really death and you sort of waft on in some other form. But no, he's at great pains to say this. And John in his letters begins by saying, you know what? We handled him. We touched the body of the risen Jesus. And he says, handle me and see, touch me. And Thomas puts his finger into the holes in the hand of Jesus where the nails had been, and puts his hand, it's bigger than a finger, his hand, maybe his fist, into the side of Jesus where the gash was made by the spear. So he says, put your finger into the holes in my hand, fingers big enough for a nail print, and put your hand, which is big enough for like the spearhead, into my side. This is really me. And that, of course, has so much meaning in terms of relationship, because if Jesus is not in a bodily form, well, how do you have a relationship with a piece of, let's say, electricity? How do you have relationship with a cloud? How do you have relationship with something purely abstract? Whereas once you understand that both God and Jesus exist in a bodily form, you can't be too primitive about it and start trying to probe that statement too closely. But once you accept that they exist and all existence is in a bodily form, that invites relationship, that I shall see him. And it gives more depth to the comment in Hebrews that Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. The Jesus of the Gospels, the Jesus who walked around Galilee, got thirsty, got tired, was endlessly patient with people, loved little children, hated religious hypocrisy. The Jesus who died to save people is the same Jesus today with whom we have to do in heaven. And it is the same Jesus with whom we shall relate forever. So the Jesus of history is the Christ of faith, as the theologians say. Well, that means is that the human Jesus who walked around Galilee and who died 2,000 years ago on a hill outside Jerusalem on a day in April on a Friday afternoon, just outside Jerusalem, is around today as a person. He is in heaven, and he will come from heaven to earth. This is not language appropriate to an abstract force like electricity or spirit, as people like to say, in some vague form. This is focused in spirit, if you like, focused in a bodily form. So yes, without question to that, without any delay or whatever, I can say yes to that question. You know, will Jesus return in a human form? Will we see him in a bodily form? Yes, yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm so excited for that to happen because I have so many questions for him that absolutely do not matter. Like, what's his favorite color? Does he have a favorite? Does he like dogs? Because I like dogs.